Throughout times, students' master thesis guidance has remained largely in its traditional, conservative, unchanged form when it comes to content evaluation and approach. COVID-19 has resulted in all forms of teaching and learning being reviewed, and this has pushed also for thesis guidance to be adapted and reimagined. We are Anna Nikina Ruohonen and Sanna Heiniö, and we are inviting you to learn about a new pedagogical method that we designed and tested called Master Thesis Train.
Thank you, Anna. When facing a new demanding task, it is common, if not natural, to experience feelings of anxiety, and the temptation to postpone the difficult task into the future is appealing. This is a common phenomenon for many of us and also for our master students. The master thesis feels too big and difficult, so students procrastinate and wait for inspiration to come. And as we know, perfect moment may never come unless we make some concrete efforts towards it. Last spring, we realized that we had many master students who had the will to finish their thesis and complete the degree, but did not quite get into it, doing it in practice. For these students, we offered a journey in a metaphorical master thesis train. Thesis train would lead the way and provide steady journey to reach the final station and graduate. And like any journey, this journey would be done happily together with other travelers who have the same destination. So instead of being an undefined lump, thesis was given a form as a process or a journey with regular points of contact and steering.
We invited 23 students to join Master Thesis Train in 2020. And we offered this possibility to them in English and Finnish languages. Essentially, Master Thesis Train has combined individual and group guidance, both of which run side by side with the students' actual advancement of the thesis project simultaneously, with personalized and clear deliverables along the way. The train has been adapted to the environment of virtual guidance, where students receive relevant content, support, and structure to complete the thesis process effectively. So instead of walking alone towards completing a master's thesis, students were invited to hop on the master thesis train and make the journey together with a small group of peers and a tutor in the re-envisioned role of a virtual trainer and supporter. There were three main findings that we discovered along the way. First, we noted that students felt empowered in their individual work life and thesis writing balance. As you know, quite often master level students, they have also their other work and family engagements in parallel with their studies. And so they genuinely appreciated the fact that instead of requesting them to adapt to our schedule, we adapted to their schedule. And we introduced the train sessions during weekends with the possibility of additional individual guidance on the weeknights. And so overall, the students felt that the train helped them to get on the right track and make steady progress on a weekly basis. Second, we noted that Master Thesis Train supported short-term delivery of results. And there were students who started almost from nothing, and they felt that they got immense help regarding everything necessary. They got all the tools to be able to finish their thesis or progress with it notably, and in some cases even all the way until the graduation and receiving their degree diplomas. And third, we highlighted that the Master Thesis Train helped to reformat the role of a thesis advisor. And the concept of the guidance and student guidance in this case shifted more towards a virtual community of practice. So Master Thesis Train highlighted and brought to front stage the influence of group interaction as a part of what is traditionally viewed as a rather isolated and independent process of writing a master thesis. So this resulted in students feeling comfortable and in a small group settings, and they felt it is easy to be active, to be involved, and it felt nice to them to have a group of students with whom they had the opportunity to discuss their thesis journey, as well as to hear about other students' experiences.
To summarize what we learned during this thesis train, I would like to point out that in the thesis train, students learned skills that are not typically in the core of thesis guidance. For example, students learned project management skills, which are essential for completing master thesis, but are not typically set a clear focus. The meetings also functioned as shared points of reflection and enabled students to attain more profound understanding of their own thinking and ideas. This exceptional year, 2020, required self-determination skills in many ways, and especially if the students were writing the thesis alone after working day or weekends. During the spring and summer 2020, students' self-determination abilities were already forced to the maximum as nearly everybody was working alone from home. The need for doing things together and the need for interaction became more pronounced, and Thesis Train made it possible for students to work on the independent thesis, but at the same time share the journey and progress with others. And the Thesis Train reformed the role of thesis advisor. When learning and meetings were shared together with the group, the thesis advisor was no longer the senior expert who ran the process, but more as a facilitator and trainer of the group. This gave way to more current approaches of guidance and leadership, as well as understanding student groups as communities of practice where information is open and shared. Shortly, the thesis train did not only help students to proceed with their thesis, but it also had an influence how we approach thesis guidance in our organization and illustrated the way for future development.